Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. 2 weeks late, but just in time to hear about Seth's visit to the mothership. I call it the Death Star. Is it where the rebellion known as the Giants is gone? So Seth has returned from the Sin City, where he has committed almost no sins, various sketchy.
As long as Carly's not down here.
I have canceled my trip to the Sin City for this weekend. I am not going because the Jets just are not a team that I want to spend $1,000 going to watch. College football is in swing. The CFP has come out. The first rankings anyway. I got to tell you, I have watched very little college football this year because Syracuse sucks. And basketball has started. College basketball, we'll get into our preview next week, as neither one of us has prepared for it this week. And overall, Seth, tell me about your visit. I have come to the understanding that this show over the last 10 years is just as much about our lives as it is about sports. So with that in mind, please regale us with the events that have happened in your trip, because I'm interested.
You want to hear about Vegas?
I want to hear about Vegas, baby. Give me Vegas.
Well, a couple things. Number one, really wish before the Woody Johnson and the Maras decided to build this freaking abomination in East Rutherford that they got some ideas from other places. Because
this wasn't around. This wasn't around before that.
I know it was not around, but we've been to Atlanta Stadium.
Also not around.
I understand. But the Giant Stadium, I believe, or MetLife, is about 10 years old.
Yeah.
I think Raiders is 2, Atlanta's 4 or 5, maybe, something like that.
It's a little longer, but yeah, okay.
These stadiums are 20 million times nicer and have so much more to offer than that freaking steel contraption that we call home field in John Gotti's wasteland. I gambled. I won.
Well, hold on. So let's go back to the Death Star. Okay. So the Death Star, tell me a little bit. So most of us have not been to the field, including myself. You just said it is much better than MetLife Stadium, and granted, MetLife Stadium is, I don't know, it's just a bunch of concrete and big walkways, right? I mean, it has nothing special to it. I understand that, right? It kind of reminds me of Yankee Stadium, in which it's just a big-ass stadium with lots and lots of suites that really ruins the effect of being at a game. It's just a place to watch a game. It doesn't bring any charm to it, which I believe the old Yankee Stadium certainly did. I think Citi Field does. I think Citi Field is a great stadium.
Yeah, it is.
Right? I think that most of the stadiums in New York, even Barclays has something. MSG is MSG, but I will tell you, if you go to UBS, you will be amazed. But that's a different.
I've been to UBS.
Okay, and I am so happy with what they did with UBS. But what does the Vegas Stadium and Allegiant Stadium, what does it bring to the table? What are some of the alluring aspects that Mark Davis succeeded in doing where he has substantially failed on the field?
First of all, walking distance. You can walk from the Strip.
Yep.
So very easy to get to. You have it. It's just, it has a homey but a cool feel to it, and it was. It was well put together. There's a place for the band. There's like on the field suites, which is pretty neat. It's just a cool place. And I was blatantly jealous, to be honest. Now the prices are through the roof. But, that you kind of expect. It was really a cool place.
So I love the fact that the monorail goes to Mandalay Bay, right? And you can take the monorail all the way up to Mandalay Bay or to Luxor and then walk. I think it's less than a mile to Allegiant Stadium, which is great.
Yes, it's way less than a mile from Mandalay.
And T-Mobile Stadium, which is where the Golden Knights play, is right next to Cosmopolitan. So you can walk there as well. In fact, I did.
Yes, you can.
Right outside of New York. So they've made everything very accessible. And part of that is, and the A's stadium is going to be on Tropicana. I'm not sure if you noticed how small that footprint is.
Yeah.
That footprint is ridiculously small. But I envision they don't believe there'll be much parking because you don't need it if everybody's walking, right? So you got that going for you. So they'll all be within a mile of each other, mile and a half. And it's Vegas, right? And to bring that up, was there gambling in the park? In the
No
stadium? No gambling at all? Sports gambling or otherwise? No games?
No, I do not remember seeing the games for it.
Okay. And what about the food? Food decent?
Yeah, I mean expensive as hell, but a nice variety.
And easy to get to, good viewing. I mean, I'm thinking about the things that you see in the stadium, right? So good viewing. It certainly is nice to look out from the outside. It's one of the nicer stadiums I remember looking from the outside. Okay. Did you win money? Let's go out spade. Did you win money?
I did.
Okay. Did you bet against the Giants?
I did not.
Did you think about it?
No. One of the games I lost and I felt obligated to bet it was Maryland. I thought it was a terrible bet because, as I mentioned, we fell apart. We completely fell apart. But but yeah, I want to come. I mean, I didn't bet too much. I bet a couple parlays. One I kicked myself on as soon as I was done, and I lost the second game. I won, I think, 4 out of 6 in college and 3 out of 4 in the NFL.
Well, believe it or not, the last time I went to Vegas, the only money that I won was on MMA. So that just tells you exactly how much I bet because I did not bet very much. I tend to try and not bet on sports because I know myself, and that will cause a problem. A very, very large problem that could not be changed very quickly. I just know the addictive personality that lends itself to that. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-1000 gambling sites that you could call. Okay. So you stayed at Caesars. Good food overall?
I didn't eat there. I ate at the Wynn. I ate at a couple, a place or two in Mandalay / the Delano. We did not have the big steak dinner or this, that, the other thing meal.
Okay. And the fact that Carly's not there, how was the strip club?
Cared. I mean, I'll be honest, I couldn't have given a crap one way or the other. It was what it was. I went because a buddy, there were 7 of us, and one guy really wanted to go, and everyone else was crashing because we're all old and tired. And I hung out with 1 or 2 of them, and one was really cool. She was from Brooklyn, and it was good stuff.
So let me encapsulate this trip. If you had the opportunity to go again, would you go for a Giants game? Is it worth going?
Depends how the Giants are.
Okay, fair enough. So just going for a game is not worth going for a game. You want to be invested in the game.
I want to be invested. Look, Vegas is fun, but I don't care. I don't give a crap about the strip clubs.
Right.
And I like gambling probably more than I should. So the idea of doing it is not overly fantastic at this point.
Okay, so let's play it out. How happy were you for Antonio Pierce?
I was very happy. I mean, nothing to not be happy about. He's a class act. He was a good Giant. And, look, our team shit the bed. And I've shit the bed all year.
Did you hear the rumor? Did you hear the rumor of what happened before McDaniels and Ziegler got fired?
I'm not sure
what he said in the locker room. So they asked McDaniels asked Antonio Pierce to speak. Now this is strictly rumor. I read this somewhere. No verifiable source. That Antonio Pierce said, "Guys, the season isn't over yet. Remember what the Giants did, my Giants did to the Patriots in whatever year that they won, and that they were 16-0. And the whole team left. And again, rumor has absolutely I have no verifiable source. But McDaniels looked at Pierce and said, "Don't you ever trash the Patriots again." And next year, Mike Vrabel will be the coach of the New England Patriots. Josh McDaniels will be the offensive coordinator. And Gerard Mayer will be the defensive coordinator. And Matt Patricia may be the offensive line coach. And Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk has said, the Patriots way is dead. And nothing is going to be able to bring – this is just another example of it had nothing to do with Belichick. It had nothing to do with anybody except the 6th-round pick out of Michigan named Tom Brady. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's going a little bit far. That there was nothing. That they had nothing. Nobody had anything to do with it other than Brady. But the idea that the authoritarian / dictator running the team does seem to be dead. When you see the most successful coaches right now, Reed, Sirianni, McDonald, for lack of a better term,
Shanahan, Pete Carroll,
yeah,
they're players coaches. They're not dictators whatsoever. And in fact, I think if you went down the line, how many coaches do you think will be fired after the end of this year?
I got to take a quick.
I mean,
let's take a quick look.
Let's go through it. So the Eagles are not firing. Let's go to the AFC East. No to the Dolphins. Sean McDermott?
No, I don't think so.
Robert Saleh?
I don't think so, but let's see how the last 7 games goes.
I think he buys himself another year the fact that Rodgers got hurt.
I agree.
Bill Belichick. Will he be back in New England? We're 9 games in. He's 2-7.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to say he's gone. I'm going to say there were rumors that he may wind up in Washington through a trade, which is an easy way out for Kraft and an easy way out for Belichick. Nobody gets fired. Nobody quits, right? He just goes somewhere else. We've seen that before. I'm not sure if it's there, but I don't think he's back in New England next year. Okay, Jim Harbaugh is staying. Mike Tomlin somehow is staying. He's 5-3 with a team that should not be 5-3.
That team shouldn't be probably 3-5.
The Browns, they're 5-3 too.
Stefanski's not going anywhere,
and the Bengals aren't going anywhere either. Zach Taylor, right?
They're fine.
Zach Taylor, who has won 4 in a row, and I gotta tell you, I didn't pick the Ravens to be the best team in the AFC East, but the AFC. Right now, they're the best team in the AFC, and it's not close. They are playing the best football in the AFC.
They are playing the best ball, but again, we've seen this with Baltimore. Let's see where we are in 2 months. Look, Kansas City has not been a great 7-2.
No, and thank you, Gus Edwards, because without him, our team would be gone. Our team would not be a playoff caliber team. We are 1 game out of the playoff spot, my friend, at 4-5. So, okay. Jacksonville, Peterson safe. Texans, D'Amico Ryans maybe coach of the year at 4-4.
Agreed.
Indianapolis, safe, even at 4-5. I can't see Ursi firing again.
No, why would they fire? He's 1 year in and Jonathan Taylor's been hurt and the quarterback's out for the year.
All right, Vrabel. I don't think he's in Tennessee.
He's not going to be fired. He may leave.
Right, I think he might leave. All right, Reed staying. Brandon Staley.
Gone.
At 4, if they make the playoffs, still gone?
They have to do more than make the playoffs.
Okay. Antonio Pierce. Mark Davis owes McDaniels and his staff $50 million. 5-0.
I don't think.
You think he gets the job?
I don't. I don't think typically it works well when you're getting a job based upon an interim position. We've seen it too many times.
Yep. It's almost never worked.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a little push, right? And you get a little bump in what you're doing. But at the end of the day, it never works out long term. Okay. Sean Payton's still there. He's earning like $12 million a year. Russell Wilson may not, but Sean Payton will be.
Yeah.
Right. The Eagles at 8-1 are the best team in the NFL. Mike McCarthy. How much do they
I think he's out.
You think he's out no matter what?
I do.
Okay. What saves his job? An NFC title game?
Yes.
Okay. Anything less and he's gone.
He has to beat the Niners or the Eagles. Because literally they beat every team they should.
And they lose to every team they shouldn't. Well, they lose to every team that they need to beat, right? And it's possible for them to have 3 losses by the time they go back and play the Eagles. I think that's in like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. They play the Eagles again. Hold on. They play the Giants. That's a win. Carolina, a win. Washington, chances are a win. Seattle at home on a Thursday. That's a great game, by the way. At home versus Seattle on a Thursday night. That may be the best Thursday night game that you find. And then they play at home against Philadelphia. It looks like that's a Sunday night game. So those are make break for the season for them. Those 2 games. They can wind up being with 3 losses, being I think it's 9-3 going into Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think Ron Rivera is gone, no matter what.
Agreed.
Now, here's another question: is Sam Howell the future? Because he's played great.
I think it depends on where I think it's too early to tell.
Okay. Are your New York Football Giants going to fire Brian Dable?
No. Carly, what's your question? You don't have to whisper. Just ask the question.
Hello, everyone.
You're not on the screen.
Okay, where is the iPad?
Should be upstairs.
The iPad is upstairs.
Okay, I will look for it when I'm done with my meetings.
Is it in your backpack?
All right.
Take a look.
So Seth went off camera while he's looking for an iPad of some sort. Okay, the Giants and Brian Dable. Seth believes that Brian Dable is free and clear. I am not so sure he's free and clear. If the Giants finish at 2-15, Seth, 2-15, they don't win another game. Is he free and clear? At 2-15?
I think so.
Okay.
They have not had a healthy team all year.
They haven't had a healthy team in 3 years.
Yeah. And I don't think so. With Tommy DeVito, I don't know how you throw. I don't.
Come on, Tommy DeVito, baby. I mean,
he's an Illinois grad, buddy. He's an Illinois grad.
All right. At 2-15, they are taking a quarterback. Yes.
Yes.
no matter what they have with Daniel Jones, they are taking either Drake May or Caleb Williams. Yes? If they finish in the top 3.
Yes, they're taking a quarterback. They have no choice.
Okay. The Daniel Jones era is now over.
Yes.
Detroit Lions not firing their head coach. Minnesota not firing their head coach. Is Matt LaFleur in trouble?
He may be. You know, he made a decision to go away from Rodgers and go away from Adams. And again, I don't know how much is the GM versus the coach, but
I mean, they've been incredible. I mean, they are an incredibly patient organization, but they're 3-5 this year. I'm trying. I think they definitely missed the playoffs last year, right? I mean, the year before, Packers history. Sorry, they went 8-9 last year. In 2021, they went 13-4. So if they missed the playoffs this year, they will have missed it twice. Is there another season for him? I think there is, because I don't think Green Bay is not one of those teams that, first of all, many coaches want to go to, understanding it's one of the 32.
yeah.
But they have been ridiculously patient at all times. So I'm not sure that they're caving. Matt Euphelis.
He's gone.
1 year and gone.
2 years.
2 years? 2 years and gone. Even though he's had more injury problems than anybody else.
Yes.
Gone. Okay. Saints, not going. Dennis Smith is there. The Falcons, Arthur Smith, 4-5.
I think he's in trouble if they don't go at least 8-8, because they don't seem to use their players very well on offense.
Okay. Tampa Bay.
No, I don't think Bowles is gone.
Okay. At 3-5. Losing the last 4 in a row. Carolina is safe. There's no way they're firing Frank Reich.
No.
49ers. What would the 49ers have to do to fire their coach? They're 5-3. Losing the last 3. Is there any chance?
No.
Okay. Pete Carroll is safe until Pete Carroll wants to leave. But it's funny because we said that about Belichick too. And I'm not sure that's true about Belichick anymore. All right. The Rams.
McVay's there unless he wants to leave, he's there.
See, and I think he leaves. I think he's gone. And the Cardinals, 1-8, but they're 1-8 with a reason to be 1-8, right?
Yeah.
They want to be 1-8. Okay. So what's your prediction for the rest of the year? Giants finish at what?
Say 3-14, 4-13.
Okay. Well, 4 wins may be too many. You hope it's not, but 4 wins may very.
It is incredibly depressing. It is incredibly depressing.
Well, no more depressing than my Jets. I mean, I got to tell you, Seth, watching the Jets is like what would be an equivalent? It's like that it's 3 and out every single time. There is no offense to speak of. And you better give up less than 15 points every game. Also, you're not going to win. And I give a lot of credit to Aaron Rodgers, who says, "Oh, give me a couple of weeks and I'll be back." Quite frankly, this is not going to work anyway. They'll be out of it by the time this counts for him. I would rather him not come back this year at all. Unless he's coming back next week, which he will not. Do the Jets legitimately have a shot of being in playoff contention before he gets back? When he gets back. They play the Raiders this week. Okay, that's probably a win. Let's call it a win. That's 5-4. At the Bills, there's no way they beat the Bills again. None. Nope. Not at Buffalo. So that's 5-5. They play the Dolphins at home on Friday football, on Black Friday football. That's let's call it a loss, 5-6. Against the Falcons, 6-6. Against the Texans at home, at this point, Seth, I'd take the Texans to beat them. And then you're at 7. And then you're into mid-December. And now you're going to bring him back with a patchwork line. Just not going to work. Just not going to work. All right. Have you watched any of the NBA this year? Any?
Oh. Yes, a little. I mean, we're only a week and a half in, but a little, not as much as I typically would have watched at this point.
Okay. Is there, other than Wemby, which I still think is fascinating watching him, is there anything that you want to see? Is there anything you need to see out of this year that you have not seen so far that you're looking forward to? Like, I love watching Luka. I just like watching him. He's a fun guy to watch. But I was thinking the other day, if I was going to pick 5 guys to start a team, and not the 5 best guys, 5 guys to start a team for the next 5 years, who would you pick? Who would be your point guard 5 years?
Either Halliburton or Scoot.
Now,
it's too early.
The concern that the worst part is you once again said Halliburton, and that's just bothering me because I'd pick Halliburton just because I wouldn't pick Obi. But so Halliburton or Scoot as a point guard. That's an interesting. I think I would take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as my one.
I don't think of Gilgeous-Alexander as a 1. I see him as a 2.
Okay. Then I would pick Tyrese Maxey probably as a 1.
Again, is Maxey a 1?
Is there a 1? Is there such a thing as a 1 in today's basketball, except for Chris Paul? Jalen Brunson, maybe a 1. I mean, go around the league. Is Kyrie?
Yeah, there's very few 1s.
I guess Kyrie Irving's a 1, right? And Drew Holiday's a 1.
Yeah,
and maybe Derek White's a 1. And they're both on the same team. Is Dame a 1? Dame's not a 1. I mean, Dame's a 1 in theory.
All of these guys are pretty much 1-2 combos.
All right, so let's play it easier. Who's your backcourt? You can play whoever you want, right? 1, 2, switch them up. Who's your backcourt? Next 5 years.
My 2 is Doncic. My 1,
and they have to play well together. Like, you're picking a team. You're not picking.
Well, that's why that's kind of why I like Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's the best, and I'm not saying it just to fuck with you.
It's okay. I understand.
He is such a team player.
Yep.
It feels like that. I think he would meld well.
Well, and that's why I would pick Alexander for the same reason. Is I would think that would go, that's why I would not pick Scoot under any circumstances. We haven't seen whether he is or isn't a team player.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's no definitive 1. There's no Chris Paul, there's no Gary Payton or Stockton or Kidd, where you can say, okay, these are the 2 or 3 guys. Like, they're all such mixtures at this point.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to pick Doncic, well, and part of it is, right, I want a guy that's going to pass the ball. I don't want to. If I'm projecting this out where I got Doncic as basically my point forward, right, or my point shooting guard, he's going to handle the ball the most of anybody. I probably want a defender who and Alexander can defend. I think I'd pick out Gilgeous-Alexander. Who's your 3? Because remember, if you have Doncic at the 2, you need basically a guy that can defend at the 3, because you're not going to have Doncic defending shooting guards. That's not going to happen. So I'm talking about a full team. Like, I know who my 4 is, and I kind of know who my 5 is. My 3 is probably the hardest one.
Well, your 5 in 5 years is it going to be Jokic?
No, it's going to be Wemby.
You have him as a 5.
Well, I have him and Anthony Davis as a 4-5. So they can go like this all day long. And I'll have defenders.
How do you have Anthony Davis? Because how are you convinced he's going to stay healthy? He can't stay healthy.
I'm not convinced he's going to stay healthy, but I'll take my chance because there's nobody else I'd rather have at the 4 that's going to play. Look, if I have Gilgeous-Alexander at the 1 and Doncic at the 2, I got to compensate defensively for those 2 guys. So how do I compensate defensively is I have 2 guys in the backcourt. It would either be, well, okay, if you want me to take out Anthony Davis, which is fair, I understand that, then I'm picking Evan Mobley. And I'll have them switch off all day long.
Can I take Cooper Flag?
Yes. As a 6'8" guy? I'm not sure.
He's taller than that, but yeah.
No, he's 6'8".
That's it. I thought he was bigger.
But where's he going? What position is he playing?
Again, I think these are all interchangeable.
Okay.
I would probably in 5 years have Tatum at the 3. And let's just say Flag and Wembanyama 4 or 5. Giannis is a bit at the end of his prime, and his game is predicated on athleticism.
Yeah. So you're not having Jokic either.
Jokic, if I'm playing Wembanyama at the 4, then I'll probably have Jokic at the 5. I think Embiid's body is going to break down.
And I will tell you flat out, we've had this discussion. It's unfortunate, but I think so is Wembanyama's.
Yes, you think he's going to be Greg Oden-esque.
That or Rick Smith-ish. Yeah, I think there's just a lot to put on that body, and it's kind of like when you had Matt Harvey or you had one of these great pitchers, right? And you knew one day you were going to wake up and see that they had to have Tommy John surgery. Like you woke up and you knew it because you're like, you just can't have good things. And look, I'd be impressed if he went his entire career without an injury. But David Robinson had an injury. I mean, if you look at the big guys, I mean, I guess Hakeem and Shaq didn't have injuries. I mean, big injuries, like season-ending injuries. But that would be about it for me. I don't really know of anybody else. So switching gears a little bit, let's go back to college football. Your thoughts on your Big Ten rivalry with Michigan since they grabbed your signals before the game. Is that why they beat Maryland?
We beat Maryland because Maryland stopped playing about 3.5 games ago. Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with the fact that they had your signs.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you believe there's anything to it?
I don't know. I mean, everyone else seems.
Do you care? Do you think it would matter?
If it wouldn't matter, then he didn't need to do it in the first place.
Wow, that is as lawyer an answer as you could give. Congrats. You've come to the dark side. I guess you went to Vegas and came back a lawyer. Well done. Well done, Rebellion. But no, seriously, do you think it matters? Do you think the fact that you had somebody on the sidelines potentially, it matters? Or is it, first of all, commonplace? You can see anything anyway on TV. You can get every angle you possibly want on TV. You could have a camera focused straight on the coaches. I'm sure there is one. And then what do you do? Does it matter? Or is this a whole lot of nothing, which I'm not sure it is or isn't? I'm just thankful. Well, it wouldn't matter anyway. Michigan would beat us with their 4th strings. So, I mean, it wouldn't matter whether you suspended the whole offense and the whole defense. You'd still beat us. I think Michigan would actually beat Syracuse without a coaching staff. I mean, does it really matter? Okay. So, obviously, you have no opinion on this whatsoever. So, we'll just keep moving along. Ohio State's 9-0. Georgia's 9-0. Florida State's 9-0. Go ACC. Michigan's 9-0. Washington's 9-0. Oh my God. My chaos is not going to happen. Like, there's no way.
It may. First of all, Michigan or Ohio State has to be beat. Well, one of the two is going to lose.
Correct.
I don't know if Washington gets through. Their schedule is brutal, and they have to play Oregon, who may be playing better than any team in the country.
Yep.
Georgia, I don't think has been great, and This has not been a great Georgia team, as weird as that sounds. The SEC is in a down year, so
we got 12 teams in the playoff this year. 12.
No, there's no 12. It's 4. It starts next year.
Oh, it starts in 2024. Sorry, it's 2024 to 2025. Sorry, I was thinking 2023 or 2024. So, all right. So Oregon's got to play Washington, right, in the matchup of the Big Ten hopefuls, or the Big Ten to be continued. You have Michigan against Ohio State in the Big Ten present, and you have Florida State, who plays almost nobody the rest of the year. I can't imagine. Yeah. I mean, I think if anybody has a shoe into this, it's probably Florida State.
Yeah, I also don't think they can beat any of the other teams that we mentioned. I don't think they're good enough.
So Florida State has Miami at home, North Alabama at home. Wow, that's a great late season game for them. And then at Florida. But the thing is, even if they lose to Florida, that's still not a division team. That's not a conference, and they'll still be in the conference championship.
Right, but Florida's I think 3-5. Miami's like 4-4.
Right, but I'm saying even if they lose one of those games, they still go to the conference championship, and if they win the conference championship, they'll probably go anyway.
No, they won't.
No,
no chance. If they can't, look, they have one really good win, which is LSU.
Yep.
And
they beat Duke Duke's in conference, right? That's the point, right? And they beat LSU on the first week of the season.
Yes, that's the one big win.
Yep.
Beating Clemson on the last play of the game, or in an overtime or something really close, doesn't mean much this year.
Nope.
Beating Duke when their quarterback gets knocked out in the fourth quarter when they were losing doesn't mean much this year.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they lose a game, they're out.
Okay.
There's a better chance you would see 2 from the Pac-10, as strange as that sounds, or 2 from the Big Ten. Or if Alabama beats Georgia, 2 from the SEC.
So that means 4 from the Big Ten, right? Oh, no, 4 from the Big Ten to be.
Yeah.
It's so strange, Seth.
It stinks.
It's so strange to say Oregon and Washington are going to the Big Ten. Yeah, look, we lament this every year. It seems like it's just somebody else. Ole Miss being number 9. Little strange to see them on the top 10 board. Do they have a shot here?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Ole Miss on the top 10 board. They're at number 9. No?
No. Ole Miss would have to beat. They play Georgia this week.
Yep.
And then they would have to beat Georgia again, or Alabama. I forget which division they're in the SEC.
They're not in Georgia's division, so they'd have to face Alabama. So, sorry.
No.
You're right. So
they'd have to beat Georgia twice.
Right. So they lost to Alabama. So they played Georgia, University of Louisiana Monroe, and then Mississippi State. So they'd have to beat Georgia and then go again and beat Georgia again. They'd have to beat Georgia twice, which is unlikely at best.
Yes. And if they go 11-1 and beat Georgia twice,
more power to them.
More power to them.
And what about Texas? Sneaky number 7.
Texas got incredibly lucky to win this week. I don't see them going. I don't see them, even knowing they beat Alabama, which is a damn nice win. I don't think so. I don't think anyone. I think the best chance you had was Oklahoma, and they're out with 2 losses now.
So you think that the top? So we have a top 4 we have a top 6 of Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State, Michigan, Washington, Oregon. You think 4 of those 6 are going? Nobody's jumping into that bracket.
Alabama could jump in. I think
Alabama would have to beat Georgia in the SEC title game.
Yes.
And if Georgia's undefeated at that point, then does Georgia drop out?
No, I think what happens is this. I think Florida State goes in.
Right.
I think the winner of the Pac-10 between Washington and probably Oregon is in.
Even if Oregon's 9-1, they'll have a loss.
Yeah, I think the winner of Ohio State and Michigan is in.
Now, okay, so Ohio State.
Am I missing one? Or am I?
Yeah. So So Ohio State, Michigan would have no losses, right?
Yes.
I mean, conceivably, right? They win the Big Ten championship game. The winner of Georgia and
Ohio State, winner of Ohio State, Michigan in. Florida State in.
Yep. You said
the winner of Georgia, Alabama, assuming that's the conference championship, and Alabama doesn't have more than one loss.
Yep. Okay.
Then I think you have the loser of Alabama, Georgia versus the Pac-12 champion,
which is Washington or Oregon.
Or Oregon. If it's Washington's undefeated, then it's not a question. I think Oregon beats Washington in a rematch.
Okay.
And then I think one of those two versus a one-loss Georgia team
versus a one-loss Oregon, and one-loss Georgia and one-loss Oregon.
I wouldn't be surprised if if the Pac-10 actually got one in instead of the number two team in the SEC.
Yeah. In their final year of the Pac-10.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So we got no chance for chaos here. As I said,
well, I don't know what constitutes chaos for you, buddy.
I want two loss teams in the top four. I want absolute anarchy. I want somebody to say a 2-loss team wins and a 1-loss team didn't get in. And then you say, how the hell did that happen? That's chaos to me. And in a 12-team playoff, that is going to happen. For the same reason that wild cards win World Series, it's the same reason that a 2-loss team in the next 5 years will win the college football playoff. I totally believe that. 2-loss team, anarchy. I love it. Bring it on. That's what I want. Okay. We got about 15 minutes here. I would like to say congratulations to Jacob deGrom and to Max Scherzer. No, not congratulations to either one of those. First of all, Jake doesn't even get a ring, which is amazing because if you don't play at all during the season, no ring. Bye-bye. No ring. And Max does get a ring. Congratulations. Yay. But the worst watched World Series in history. Did you know that? The worst.
I did.
And I'm not surprised in the least. And it's unfortunate because the latest rumor is that Shohei Ohtani wants to go to Texas. And if he goes to Texas and they make the World Series again, it will be the most watched World Series in history because the entire country of Japan will watch the World Series. There is nothing more that Major League Baseball wants than Ohtani to go to a team that might make the World Series because the ratings will be phenomenal. It may be on at 2 a.m, but everybody in Japan will watch that. Everybody. Okay. Since the last time we talked, flag football has become an Olympic sport. It's 3 players on the team. I think it's 3 players on a team.
No, it's 5.
Okay. 5 players on a team, flag, football, Olympic positions. Okay. So I'm wondering, how many positions are there? It's 5 on 5. I have no idea. I assume you have to have a snapper, right? Like you have to have a blocker.
Yeah.
One guy that blocks?
Yeah, it's 1 guy that blocks, I think, and 3 that go out.
Okay, so if you were building your ultimate flag football team out of NFL players and you only got 5 guys, that's it. Not offense and defense. You have 5 guys. Who are your guys? Who's your quarterback?
We need a quarterback.
Who's your quarterback?
I want someone who can run like hell.
Uh-huh.
Do I go Jalen? No, I don't think he's accurate enough. Allen's too big. That's not helpful. Mahomes, I mean, you can never go wrong with Mahomes.
I think it's either Mahomes or Lamar Jackson.
I think I would probably go Lamar.
Or I might go Kyler Murray. I don't think you actually have to be big to play.
Yeah, it's not a bad call.
You don't have to look over people.
Not a bad call.
I don't think you have to look over people.
Because there's no line. So
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. And nobody is as fast as Murray if he's back to where he was. So
yes, we'll find out next week.
Well, yeah. It takes a little bit longer than that. But, okay. The other thing is, remember, these guys are playing defense too. So, all right. Now you got wideouts, right? You got probably three guys.
Three guys.
That go
two
out.
wideouts, a kind of a combo, and then one guy specifically for defense.
Okay.
So wideouts, you're going Tyreek because he's pure
Absolutely.
speed.
Absolutely.
You may go a big guy.
Well, I think you also have to consider they got to play defense too. You got 5 guys. That's it.
You just go pure speed, pure speed, pure speed.
I don't. So Tyreek's in. Like, there is no doubt that Tyreek Hill is in this game. I would probably pick a corner.
That was where I was going next.
That has some form of hands, right?
You go Minka?
I would either go Minka, maybe Patrick Surtain.
Would you go Sauce?
From Denver? I'd go Sauce. Like that. That's neither here nor there. But are you going more on defense, or I assume, and then you need a third guy, right? A guy that's I guess the biggest target there is, right? Who's your 6'6" guy? That's just
that's to me the AJ Brown kind of player.
Okay.
Who can go up and just grab. I mean, Terrell Owens honestly would have been that perfect player for that.
Or Alvin Harper.
I mean, you may also want a running, a guy who can run, because you occasionally are going to call a running play. Maybe a guy, the Marshall Faulk kind of
I got Kyler Murray. I'm not running with anybody else. It's a freaking sprint all the way around the corner every time. I don't need a running back. I'm playing Wildcat the entire time with Kyler Murray.
Then you're going another speed receiver, so you're going one corner.
I think I'm going Surtain. I need an athletic lineman. Like, I don't need like a 300-pounder. You know who I need?
They don't exist.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Max Crosby.
Okay, a defensive lineman. But he can't help. Now, he's not going to play on the offensive end.
Sure he will.
He's going to be the snapper?
Sure.
Okay.
I envision that Max Crosby could snap the ball. You don't have to do it between the legs, I think, in flag football. I think you could just throw it backwards, like rugby. So I think, and then I think I want a younger, this is in 3 or 4 years, but I want like a Micah Parsons, somebody can rush the quarterback. So I think Crosby does that. I think I can do that on the other end.
Parsons is more athletic.
Yeah, so maybe I want Parsons.
You don't need Crosby because he's not trying to bull rush anybody.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
you don't even need Parsons because there's no tackling.
Right.
You just need a pure speed guy.
But a guy that knows how to actually get around instead of just
you can take a cornerback.
Yeah, that's true.
4-3. I mean, you take 2 corners and 2 wideouts, and the corners are supposed to be able to catch the ball.
Well, that's why they play corner, Seth, because they can't.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, how many drops have we seen?
Right. Well, what do you call a good wide receiver with bad hands? A cornerback. I mean, that's the point, right? So, I mean, I don't know if I'm trying to think who else I would pick. I can go through every single lineup and find somebody, but that's not what I was trying to think off the top of my head here. We obviously want that Zay Flowers may not be a bad idea by that point.
I mean, it's too far down the road. He hasn't done anything yet. So I mean,
Sure.
he's had a nice rookie year, but I can't. I guess I did say Cooper Flag. So
you did go Cooper Flag. That is true. CD Lamb. I mean, if we're looking for straight, Justin Jefferson, if we're just looking for just a guy, right?
if you're looking for just a guy, it's Jefferson or Diggs.
Yeah.
But Diggs 4 years from now may be too old.
Yeah. So offenses, hold on. Offenses. Oh, they play two different sides. I thought it was 3. So offenses generally feature a quarterback, a center who snaps the ball and then becomes a receiver, and 3 wide out running back types. Okay. So the center that becomes a receiver is Travis Kelce.
I was going to say a tight end.
Right. A really, really good tight end. Maybe a Kyle Pitts by that point. Right.
I mean, who the hell knows what Kyle Pitts is going to be?
We're in 2028. We're 5 years from now. Defense, a rusher, 2 corners, and 2 safeties. Well, there we go. Mika Fitzpatrick, right? Ahmed Saucer, Patrick Surtain, and give me another safety somewhere. And that's all I need. And the rusher is Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. I will tell you, I don't think the NFL players will play.
Oh, I think it's going to be part of the CV. I think they'll collectively bargain to get in.
Well, I think they want to get in. I think much like the NHL, you're going to have a lot of insurance problems with this.
You may.
You're going to have a lot of – so the reason why the NHL doesn't play in hockey is because they asked the International Athletic Federation to insure the contracts of their NHL players. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, you're going to ask the IAAF to insure Tyreek Hill's $30 million contract? All you have to say is one name. Robert
Edwards.
That's it. And for those that are too young to know who Robert Edwards was, back when they used to have skills competitions before the Pro Bowl, I'm not sure if they do anymore, but they certainly did in Hawaii. Robert Edwards played in a flag football game on the sand and tore every ligament in his knee, and as a rookie, and never played that well again, not even close. So the Patriots, I'm not sad by any stretch, but I mean, they won Super Bowls without him. They didn't need him that much, but not sad that they lost him. This was right after they lost my guy, Curtis, my favorite Martin. Hat tip to Chris Berman. Okay. Last 5 minutes. I know you have you have been very busy today. So do you have anything for your last 5 minutes, sir?
No, I got a meeting in 7 minutes, dude. Let me jump off.
All right. Have a good day, sir. So the Knicks play the Spurs. Next week, we're going to talk James Harden, which we didn't talk about today. For Seth Kamens, my hair is ridiculous. For Seth Kamens, who's over there, I'm Sean Palmer, Syracuse. Check you next week, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.